Well, hey there, Mama, and welcome back to the Moms Overcoming Overwhelm podcast, episode number 222. I'm Emily McDermott, and I am on this journey beside you as we work together to declutter your home, head, and heart. We're a little more than a week into January, and perhaps you told yourself, this is the year we are going to get to things on time. This is the year that we're going to stop running around every morning like chickens with their heads cut off, trying to find everything before we get out the door. However, it's still happening, and you're super frustrated, and you're snapping at your kids before they leave for the day, and you just need it to change. Well, I have definitely been there, and today I am going to be sharing a new method that I came up with called the Roadblock Review to help your days run smoother, and that hopefully you won't be dealing with that getting out to the bus craziness. So what do you say? Grab the notebook and pen and let's dive into today's episode. Hey Mama, are you tired of your cluttered home and mile-long to-do lists but are too overwhelmed to know where to start? Do you lack the time and motivation and don't think you'll ever conquer the clutter? You're in the right place. I'm Emily, wife, boy mom, and declutter coach who has overcome the overwhelm in my own life through decluttering and simplifying. I believe every mom deserves the peace that comes from a clutter-free home. Ready to get your life back? Let's declutter your home, head, and heart together. So we are just finishing up a 5-day decluttering challenge in the Facebook group where I have been taking everyone through my transform method. Every day they've been getting a short 5-minute video of encouragement and guidance. And if that is something that you are interested in, but you missed this particular challenge, well, don't worry. I am happy to send you the 5 videos that I used. They're on my YouTube channel, but they're not listed for the public. So if you are interested in learning more, you can just go and head over to info@simplebyemmy.com, send me a quick email, and I can go ahead and send that over to you. Okay, so the roadblock review. If you have been here at all, and we're in episode 222, so perhaps you've been here a little while, I love alliteration. So we're doing roadblock review with the R's, and I have a different set of 3 F's because I just can't help myself. So why would we need a roadblock review? Well, a roadblock review is when we are looking at what didn't work so well today? What were the roadblocks that prevented me or my children or my spouse from being able to do something that was important to us? And in the moment, a lot of times all we can think about is, oh, I wish we would have just gotten out the door because then I wouldn't have been late to this meeting and the kids would have been in a better mood. And it's easy to kind of focus on more those negative emotional aspects. But I want us to approach this roadblock review with a sense of curiosity. This really didn't work well today. I wonder why, and being able to do kind of that post-mortem on what exactly happened. So let's dive into the 3 F's. What I want you to be focusing on when you do this roadblock review is number 1, friction. Where are we getting tripped up? Now, that could physically mean friction, like there's so many shoes everywhere, the kids are actually like tripping on them as they're trying to find the ones that they want to wear for the day. It might be that there's just way too much volume that they're trying to find their coat and then they can't even find it because it's in this pile or it's just mixed in with a bunch of other stuff. It might be routines where kids aren't like maybe putting things where they belong consistently, so you're always having to pick up after them. So there might be a friction point where you want everything to be like micro organized and they just kind of throw it in the quote unquote wrong place. And they don't really have that organizing mindset, shall we say. And there's also a possibility for having friction in your calendar because everything is just so overscheduled. You don't have any margin, you don't have any white space. And so when things go wrong, as they tend to do, then you're kind of stuck because you have so much going on. And a lot of times when we're thinking about, okay, how can the mornings run smoother? And I learned this from Chelsea Jo Moore from Systemize Your Life, looking at the block of time from when your kids get home to when they go to bed is the most important block of time that you can focus on. And the reason is that it's setting everything up for how things are going to go in the morning. Okay. Now, of course, we can have roadblocks at different parts of the day, but just using this as an example, we want to make sure we're looking at that afternoon time block in order to make the mornings run smoother. So first of all, friction. Where's the physical friction? Where's the friction in routine? Where's the friction in our calendar? Okay. The second F is frustration. What is causing us stress and frustration? Now, some of these might overlap a little bit, but perhaps one of the sources of frustration is that your spouse isn't really supporting you in getting things ready for the kids so that they can get out the door. And perhaps you're feeling some resentment about that fact. I would definitely recommend episode 213 with Valerie Recor, and I will link it in the show notes, where we talk about the fair play method and being able to really share the load with your significant other. Because when it comes to some of these things, I'm going to give you a perfect example. Fruit snacks. Fruit snacks seems like a simple thing, right? Except that my one son likes Mott's and my other son likes Welch's. And they couldn't possibly like the same fruit snacks because that would actually make my life easier. So I have to know that one likes Welch's and one likes Mott's when I'm thinking about what we're going to pack for their snack. Okay, so there's an example. So if you're feeling resentment because you feel like you have the full mental load of remembering who has what and who has library that day, so they have to have their library books packed, or what snack they're having and is it packed and is there water in the water bottle and all these things, instead of scurrying around in the morning, being able to really educate and help your spouse about, like, this is what needs to be done beforehand. Can you help me by filling the water bottles the night before? Can you help me by getting some snacks out for the kids the night before? And again, we want to approach with curiosity. It's interesting. This is causing me a lot of frustration in the morning. I wonder why. Like, let's track it back to where it's actually starting. And is there something that we can do to help prepare a little bit better? Let me give you another example. So perhaps one of your sources of stress and frustration is that dinner is constantly running late. It's never when it's supposed to be. And so then that snowballs to the rest of the evening. You have dinner late, the kids are done at a really late time, then it takes forever for them to do their baths or showers and to get to bed, and then you get to bed late, and then everything is kind of off, right? And so then asking ourselves, well, why is dinner late? So maybe it's that you got home late, and that has to do more with perhaps figuring things out on your job. But just from a meal perspective, what could we do to simplify meals? Perhaps they're too complicated. Perhaps they have too many ingredients. Perhaps our meals are not matched to the activities going on. If somebody has basketball practice at 6 p.m., what is an easy meal we can have for that day instead of having something that has 26 ingredients? Or perhaps we need to batch cook on the weekends and just tell everyone, hey, we're having leftovers for the entire week, or we're having leftovers Monday through Thursday and we get pizza on Friday. That will, of course, require a conversation with your spouse about, okay, where are we going to find the time to actually do the batch cooking so this can be done? We have meals prepared, and then we don't have to be rushing on the actual evenings of our week. So that's an example of kind of tracing it back to, yes, I'm feeling frustrated, but where does this go back to? Like, where does this start? Okay. So for these 3 F's for the roadblock review, we have friction, we have frustration, and then the third is falling behind. Where are you always falling behind? Perhaps it is that you are getting to bed late all the time. And I believe there is this concept of like revenge staying up. That's not what it's actually called. But it's when you have been giving and giving and giving to perhaps your work and your kids, and then you're like, I just want time to myself. So it's like called a revenge bedtime or something. And then you end up going to bed super late because you're wanting to read or scroll your phone or whatever the case may be. And then you are getting to bed late, which again causes the domino effect of things going in the morning and being behind and then having to rush in the morning. Perhaps it is getting the kids out to the bus. You feel like you're always behind on that, or getting in the car to drive them to school, getting them to bed, going to doctor's appointments, because for me, I'm very militant about that. We need to be there 15 minutes before, and taking into account traffic and that sort of thing. So where are the areas where you are falling behind, and then backing up as far as you need to in order to see kind of where things are breaking down? Well, what's the reason we can't get out to these appointments on time? Well, my kids, they want to have a book to read while they're in the waiting room or while they're at the doctor's in the actual exam room. And so we need to have books prepared for that. So if I know that they have a doctor's appointment tomorrow at 9 a.m., can I pack some library books in my bag beforehand so that I know that that's taken care of? So that's one example of being able to kind of go back to that. Or perhaps, again, it has to do with the volume of stuff. I'm going to be doing an episode about this at another time, but it's about the one question that my kids never ask me. And the one question they never ask me is, where are my shoes? And the reason is they have one pair of sneakers each, and they are found by the front door at all times. So we don't have 15 pairs of shoes, and some are in the closet in their room, and some are on the floor, and some are in the basement. There's one pair. So we don't have a question about where are my shoes to get out the door. We don't have a question about where is my coat, because they have one winter coat. And so that is very strange, I know, but it makes things so much simpler to be able to get out the door and to prevent this friction and frustration and falling behind, which happens if we just have too much stuff. So just to review, when we're doing that roadblock review, again, we're really coming at this from a place of curiosity. We're not berating ourselves. We're not getting down on our spouse or our kids and saying, why can't they just pick up? Why can't they just be ready on time? Why can't they just? We're not approaching it like that. It's really this isn't working. I wonder why. Why don't I look into what's going on? Where can I trace it back? What are some of the shifts that I can make? And perhaps we only make one shift. We're not going to try to change everything at once. Perhaps it is my kids never hang their coats back up in the closet. So we think, what would happen if I had a hook instead of having them use a hanger? That's a simple tweak, but it can make the world of difference between being able to find things and them actually keeping things tidy. And it goes back to that friction point, right? Where is there friction in what needs to happen? So again, those 3 F's of the roadblock review are friction, where are we getting tripped up? Frustration, what's causing stress or frustration? And the third is falling behind. So where are we constantly late? And when we can look at those 3 different aspects and kind of do that roadblock review, it can really alleviate a lot of stress and help us have smoother mornings. So I hope that was helpful. I look forward to seeing you next Thursday, and I hope you have a wonderful week. Bye for now. Hey Mama, thanks so much for listening. If you enjoyed today's show, could you please share this episode with another mom who is feeling overwhelmed? Also, it would mean the world to me if you could leave a 5-star written review wherever you listen to your podcasts. Finally, if you would like more support, come on over to our free Facebook group, tinyurl.com/moms overcoming overwhelm. Can't wait to connect with you soon.